It's week 9 of the Stronger Olympic Lifting series. I'm Tyson, the Olympic lifter, and this week was a focus on more technique and speed. Now if you refer to the program down in the description below, you'll see this week is a designated tapering week, working towards what was meant to be a competition at the end of the week. Now in light of recent events, which you can see the full story if you check out week 8, I'm not going to be doing that tapering session. There's no need to back off as much as a tapering session would have you do because there's no competition for me. Before we get on with the workouts, we've got some questions from you guys. Zalek Ramos. Do you have a tutorial for starters on this kind of weightlifting? There's no tutorials at the moment specifically for snatch and clean and jerk, but I do pepper the Stronger series with plenty of advice for you, whether it be through the program, the voiceover, or just watching the actual lifting. I also specifically targeted week 5 at people such as, I'm assuming yourself, that are interested in starting Olympic lifting or are beginners in Olympic lifting. So check out week 5 if you haven't already. My own small piece of advice that I can offer right now on the spot would be find a coach. That's the first thing that you should do. Find a coach so that you can learn the proper technique to start with. If that is impossible, like it almost was for me for the first year, I would advise read as much as you can on technique, watch as much as you can. There's a lot of good lifters on YouTube that you can watch. And what I did when I wasn't being coached was I would still do the Olympic lifts, taking into account the information that I'd learned, but I never went heavy. I respected the lifts enough to understand that if I wasn't doing it right, which could have been likely because I had no coach, that going heavy would be very dangerous and possibly cause injuries that were going to prevent me becoming a great lifter in the future. I think it's much more impressive to see someone lifting with good technique at a light weight than someone lifting heavy with terrible technique. Sideshow lol. And by the way, is that display picture from Ren and Stimpy? How much rest between your 135 front squat singles? I rest about 2 to 3 minutes between sets, and that's pretty standard across all exercises. Now it's either 99 Chris EEG or 99 Chris Ege. Let's call him Chris Ege. Chris Ege wants to know, how wide are you around the thighs? Looks about 25 inches, Chris Ege. Got any questions of your own? Express them in the comment section down below. I've got a question for you guys. I'd like to know what got you interested in Olympic lifting from the start. What piqued your interest in this sport? Answer that, and then watch week 9.
Because I decided not to taper, I followed the end of another program in the gym that was primarily power based. I only followed that program for this week though. If you'd like to view it, it's available to download in the description. And just another reminder that the previous 2 weeks, and now including this week, was supplemented with creatine concentrate, Concrete by Primera Sports. I didn't take any pre-workout for this week, but I did make an official switch from BCAA 5000 by GNC to Extend by Scivation. I don't know how many out there can relate to this, but after a max out week or competition, my lifts usually go into the gutter for a week. It's like my central nervous system needs a week to recover. Anyway, I suffered this effect again following on from maxing out last week, and my snatching was all over the place. It was triples, yet due to the inconsistency of my lifting, it fell into an uncomfortable 5 attempts per set.
oddly, semi-oddly, because I'd been feeling this before, possibly up to 2 weeks ago, the hip flexors feel quite sore. It does connect with when I was told to be more aggressive with the hips into the bar. That's when the hip pain started. There is the connection. I think being more aggressive with the hips has helped a lot. So I'll continue to do that, and I think the hip pain is a byproduct of this new addition to my technique. More aggressive hips.
This marks the first time I've ever performed this exercise. Obviously it was going to feel slightly awkward being the first time, but I think I managed okay. My main issue was I didn't feel I could get the arms to move as fast as I would have liked compared to if I had the barbell racked in front of me. Nope, I haven't mixed up the order of the workout. This program placed pulls before squats. To coincide with the lighter lifting for this week, pulls were done only 5 kilos heavier than my best clean. Here's the front squat set. It was a little bit all over the place. Like I mentioned before, see if you can notice the unevenness when I'm driving out of the bottom position. Another thing I noticed was the breathing definitely seems improvised. See, I take a single breath and then I take a breath and go for a double in that one breath. I was definitely making it up as I went, and it wasn't the most effective way to do squats. Post-workout was whey protein isolate by Bulk Nutrients. I have a fear with front squats. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's to do with balance. I think it's when I hit that full bottom position, I feel very vulnerable in that open chest out, elbows up position with a heavy weight. Something just doesn't feel right. And in the past, many a times, maybe every time, I hit the bottom and just a split second before I hit the bottom, I loosen up a tiny bit, and it breaks that perfect form that you're supposed to instill in your front squat technique from day one. Anyway, something clicked today, and I thought, completely commit. Completely commit. And that's exactly what I did. Took the breath, went down, and I did not deviate from that form. Something felt different, something felt better and easier. So that's something that you have to do for yourself. I don't know how relatable that is to everyone at home, whatever sport you do, whatever discipline you do. But if there is a correct technique, but it leaves you feeling vulnerable and eventuates in you possibly pulling out of the skill, deviating from the proper form due to fear, don't do it. Commit to it. The right technique is there. It's yours for the taking if you can just commit to it. It's the right thing to do, and it's what you have to do if you want to ascend, if you want to get better, and if you want to be a champion. That's what it takes. Overcoming that fear and committing to what is required. Another thing is I really didn't want to come into training today. Sometimes you really want to go to training. Other days, there's nothing worse. The motivation just sometimes isn't there. You need to push through it, because when you're on that podium as number one, when you're a champion, when you're world champion, whether you're local, state, national, international champion, you're going to look back at those sessions that you didn't want to go to, and you're going to be so happy that you went. Today I would have rather extend my progress in Pokemon Y. I would have rather increase my percentage complete. It's only 35% in Grand Theft Auto. I'd like to get out of the underworld in God of War. I just killed Hades. But I didn't. I came here. There's also no TV at my apartment yet. But that's beside the point. I did my workout. That's what you got to do, guys. Stick to it. Intra-workout was extend by civation. The hang cleans were also a new exercise for me. I generally always pulled from the floor up to tonight, so it was refreshing to try something different. Because it was new, I didn't go too heavy, and I was relatively happy with the result. Blink and you might miss this set. I should have held it at the top a bit longer to exemplify control throughout the entire set. Definitely too rushed. I've spoken about the supportive atmosphere of the gym in the past, generally when you go heavy, but for some reason I remember I started to be cheered on during this set of 5, which is not a difficult weight for me at all. I remember thinking, "It's okay guys, please stop and go about your business. I've got this." Post-workout was more of that whey protein isolate by bulk nutrients. Intra-workout was extend by civation. I had an aspiration to get 85 kilos for this exercise, but it quickly became about just hitting each rep with acceptable technique. First 2 felt pretty good. Third one bashed off the hips. My pelvis took a beating then, the pubic bone smashed into, just a bit above that actually. Smashed into it, narrowly avoiding the wang. Just got to extend all the way up rather than cut it, just so I can get under. That thing is annoying me. That was from hang cleans, the session on Wednesday, rubbing the knurling, which is the rough part of the barbell, along just above my knee, created a cut. And I'm not being a baby, like, yeah, but I'm letting it play on my mind that, as I'm going down to that knee level, the barbell's gonna touch that cut, it's gonna rub it in, I'm gonna feel it, it's gonna be more sensitive than normal skin. Shut up. Get those thoughts out of your head, mate. Anyway, that's an excuse. That's not really affecting it. I just need to make sure I extend all the way up and then snap under, and that's how you get it. Contrary to the power snatch, the power clean and jerk were very comfortable. In general though, I have always been more comfortable with the clean and jerk than the snatch. What about you guys? Which one of the 2 Olympic lifts are you more comfortable with? The snatch or the clean and jerk? I've chosen 100 kilos for the power clean, power jerk exercise. The idea, I think, at 75% is to it's not a breeze, it's not a walk in the park, but it's also not a massive challenge to get through. I think I could do a little bit more than 100. 75% should be, like I said, a challenge, not a massive challenge. You don't go away from the gym going, won't be coming in tomorrow because I'm it's a fresher. Weightlifting's equivalent of a fluffer for maxing out. For a set of 5, I was very happy with this technique. When I compare to my first set of front squats for this series, I'm happy to say I can notice a difference in technique for the better. The main critique for these pulls is the arms look like they're carrying a lot of tension. Generally your grip is strong and your arms are activated, but they're also relatively loose and maneuverable as opposed to flexed and rigid like they are here. Post-workout was another whey protein isolate by Bulk Nutrients. And just like that, we're at the end of week 9. You're not deceived, it was only 3 workouts this week. Next week was supposed to be another designated week off, but I decided to rock up and max out my deadlift. It was a pretty awesome session, so I'm quite confident you'll be back. Without giving anything away, I hit a PB. Remember to subscribe to be the first to be notified when new videos are released. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next week for a thunderous Thursday deadlift session. This week has not been good for the snatch variety.